Right, cheers.
Yeah, it's a nice one, pal.
Here we go again.
Back in the pub.
What's this?
It's beer. Get it down, you. What are you worried about?
That's not beer. What is it, Will?
It's beer.
What is this that you've insisted that we drink?
Stop talking shite. It's beer. That's all it is. That's
It's
all you need
alcohol-free beer, isn't it?
For fuck's
It's
sake.
2 pints with Will and Ralf.
Listen, it's early in the morning. I've still got bags under my eyes. I'm not a piss can.
Right.
I've just
You're a
listened.
shithouse. Drink that.
That's what you like. You like a teenager. Play PlayStation all night and drink fucking Wickeds.
You drink that.
What? And you got a cup of tea hiding? You having a go at me? I will drink beer as the day goes on. We've got a long day.
Cup of tea.
We start off small. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I think it's really weak that we're drinking non-alcoholic beer, but that's fine.
We will drink beer.
That's fine.
And it's also advertising that men can drink non-alcoholic beer. It's good for you.
You're right. It's
and it's
a wellness
early in
thing.
the year, you know what I mean? I realised I drank quite a lot over Christmas. I'm just thinking, a couple of beers a day is not a problem, but once I start in the morning, we're fucking hell, we've got a problem.
Okay, well now we have to bring a guest in, and I have to be embarrassed about sitting opposite him with your non-alcoholic beer.
You've got one as well.
Well, I know, but you put it there for me.
People in glass houses.
Okay, right. We have today an absolute legend.
Yeah, we've got a guest on today, yes.
I don't. Let's not even do a massive intro. Everyone knows who he is. He's an absolute huge legend. Russell Howard just wandered
Russell
in.
Howard's here, people.
Hello,
Do we
hello,
clap?
mate. Terry.
I think I'll clap.
Cheers. Hello.
Cheers. Cheers.
I enjoyed that though. It's sort of that weird thing about drinking in the morning.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, because it strikes me that you're afraid of what happens if you drink before 12. You strike me as one of those blokes. My cousin's like that, where he's like, I can't drink before 12 because the shadow comes in. He thinks there's like this sort of shadow side of him that if he starts drinking before 12, suddenly all kinds of chaos. And you strike me as that kind of person.
I'm not a day drinker. I can't, unless I drink all day, I can't.
Bollocks,
it's not bollocks. I'm not a day drinker. You know, when you've got children, Ralph, you have things called responsibilities.
Sorry, I just remember the fun you from before kids.
Yeah, before I had kids and I was like 22, I could do what I want. But
Tell Russell about the rehearsals that we
all
used to
it is drinking in the day for me. I end up proper knackered then all night, and I can't do shit because I have to stop because I can't drink all day. Piss head.
Yeah, but here's
You know
the
what I mean?
thing. But you know, have you ever been to like a pool party in sort of Vegas, anything like that?
Yeah.
So what's exciting about that is you get to get drunk during the day because your party starts at like 11.
Yeah.
And then you go to bed at 10.
It's great.
It's brilliant. And then you get up the next day.
Yeah.
It's the new way of having a night out.
I don't live in Vegas though, mate.
No,
to be fair, I
Happens
live in
Florida a lot.
Burnham.
I go to Florida a lot to see my missus, and like her auntie or whatever be, oh, there's a pool party, come round. It's like, what time? They're like, come round at 11:30, we'll crack a few beers. You drink this piss weak, like 2%
Bud Light.
Yeah.
They're all like, oh my God, are you going to have a third? And
Yeah.
we're like, I might even have a fourth. And then like at 3 p.m, they're like, okay, great to see you. And you're like, what, are we leaving now?
Yeah.
No, you got a barbecue in England, basically, it doesn't finish till people are just rolling around, knocking shit over, spewing in the corner of the garden.
Yeah.
And in America, they're like, go home and then you're sober, you go to sleep, it's fine.
American barbecues are so much more relaxed, aren't they?
Yeah.
In the way that in England, there's still that thing of like, there's always the blokes huddled around
Yeah.
it going, stay over there, we'll burn this fucking meat.
Yeah.
Right? You lot don't come too close, girls, you'll get pregnant. We're too fucking manly. Like,
Yeah,
but-
we've got one day a year to
yeah,
do
exactly.
this.
We're gonna
Leave me alone.
Yeah, we're gonna burn the meat. We're gonna burn ourselves, and then we're gonna get shit faced. So this weird thing, and then you go. So it's always that thing when you go to like parties around the world, and you realise what it's like to be English. Like you go to Amsterdam, and you see like Spanish people and Portuguese and German and Dutch or whatever, completely able to handle their booze.
Yeah.
And then you see like there's always a little bloke who looks like me, kind of walking along like that, and you're like, fucking watch him.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean?
English.
You see these like 6'4" Danish blokes who are drunk, but they're kind of jolly, and then there's this
And
little
singing. Just all like making each other laugh. And
It's like an
fucking around.
Attenborough documentary. Here we see the English, unable to hang their alcohol like any other.
You know, you've spent quite a bit of time in America, haven't you? Do you find the Americans... listen, I'm not suggesting that we have a particularly healthy relationship with alcohol as a nation. But the Americans have a very unhealthy, in a completely different way. I find their relationship with alcohol really, really weird.
In what respect?
Well, they... you can buy a gun in Walmart, but if you, God forbid, if you have you can't have an open alcohol container in a car. Not obviously if you're driving, you don't have an open bottle, but you can't be sitting in the passenger seat or in the back seat having an open bottle of beer because the police will stop you and go, "You got an open container of alcohol in the car." And they're really, really like.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they're really.
But then I'm thinking,
freaked out about it.
I don't think I've ever drunk a beer in the back seat of a car. I'm trying to think. I don't think
on
so.
the way to a festival or a party, you haven't drank. You must have.
I was always driving. I'm just trying to think.
You was a designated driver.
I was the driver.
Yeah, when you were back like fetching shopping trolleys in an Asda car park in Bristol, I'm sure you never once had a beer in the back of the car.
It was Tesco.
I'm sorry.
The whole idea.
Have we got a sponsor? Have we got a sponsor from any of these people we just mentioned?
Yeah. No.
Are they paying us?
An unknown supermarket car park.
No, I was Tesco till I die, man. It's just like me. There's nothing funny about that. That's my brand. But I mean, Christ. Yeah. Did you know I was a trolley boy? Have I told you that before?
I think you told me.
Yeah.
You told me over a drink.
What's a trolley boy?
How dare you? So, when you absentmindedly, you've done your shopping, and then you leave your trolley. Me and one of my colleagues would come along, pick that trolley up, and then, like, if you're really good, you can get about 13 in a row, and you push it into the kind of like sort of little booth for the other trolleys.
Like the terminal. Do you remember the terminal? He does it in that, doesn't he? He realises you can get.
Hang on a minute. So
25 cents.
Yeah.
From and he collects loads and gets all the money.
But surely, like, you look like you worked in a supermarket when you were young. Like, you look like one of me. Like, have you been?
He really does, doesn't he?
Yeah, but no, I mean that as a compliment. It's fucking right, it's a compliment.
I danced in a shop window when I was younger.
You did dance in a shop window.
You what?
Tell him the story.
You what in a shop window? Were you a mannequin?
No, they replaced the mannequins with me dancing in a shop window in the Arndale, yeah.
And all his mates got wind of it and came down and looked at him in his cut-off jeans, his cut-off denim.
So you were like a gigolo for Next. Like,
no, it was called Snob. It was a ladies' shop. And listen, let's not talk about me.
No, let's talk about that. So hang on. So how old were you when this was your job?
I was about 16, 17. I'd left school and my mum said, "You got to get a job." And I thought, well, I don't really want to go and do normal stuff.
Yeah.
So I was flicking through the paper and it's advertised, looking for a dancer in a shop window for this new promotion thing. And I went down, it was me, there's only two people, me, and this other Chinese guy doing robotics. And I just went mental with a pair of hot pants on, a sleeveless top. And
your mates
found
out?
Job, and my mates and my cousin found out. And I was in the window doing my bit, and then I met a few girls. I thought, this is easy. Get paid, do 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off.
Fucking hell, that's ridiculous, isn't it? What? So you can only do 20 minutes because your dancing was too powerful.
I needed a rest.
Well, they also there was a lot of friction on the floor. It was on fire. They needed to put it out.
Exactly. The women are sliding all over the place. Jeez, get him out. 20's all I can take.
Get a mop. He's done 19 minutes.
He's too sexually powerful.
I came out for one of my sets, and my cousin and some of my friends were sat on the bench opposite going, "Go on then."
God.
And I had to leave. I quit after I think it was about a week.
Not enough money in the world.
Imagine the joy you'd feel seeing your cousin dancing in hot pants. What was the shop? What were they trying to flog?
It was called Snob. So it was a fashion shop in the Arndale, and he sold girls' clothes and different stuff. And it was just to attract attention to the shop. That was the promotional idea of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just so glad mobile phones weren't invented.
Oh, mate.
Because there was people there with them big on-the-shoulder cameras. They'd even gone on to get Sandra, get the camera out. There's some dickhead dancing in the shop window. And they come back like that, all stood there.
It's such a good point, that, because there's so many moments from our youth that you go, God, if there was a mobile phone now. Like, there was a pal of mine, we went to a beer and jazz festival, that classic combo.
Yeah.
And he got really, really drunk and got naked. And one of my friends, Todd, kind of went home to get the old camera, literally, to kind of try and find it.
So,
but alas.
iPhone came out in, was it 2008? Yeah. 2007, 2008, around about then. So I would have been 27 or 28. What a perfect time for the iPhone to have come out, because earlier of my 20, I basically my entire 20s would have been a completely different story had iPhones been out. Had
just little moments, isn't it?
And many of them.
And you sort of think, when we were kids, you make one mistake and you've got a nickname. But if they had a camera and they went click and they can actually get evidence, there was one of my mates who shall remain nameless, allegedly got semi-aroused. Remember the Resusci Annie doll?
Resusci Anne. It's like it was like a doll that they had for.
What did they do to it?
Well, he apparently got one of the girls.
He was supposed to practice CPR on
it.
In a first aid course.
And one of the girls claimed that he looked slightly aroused, so he's called Annie. just from that one. Do you know what I mean? From like when he was 11. Look, he's got a boner.
Still now
and
he's
he's
got that.
done.
Yeah.
But the point is, if someone had that, it's like that's going to follow him, for, you know.
Yeah.
But even
Job
like,
interviews, everything.
well, his wife calls him Annie. Like there'll come a
No.
point when his kids find out and call him Annie. It's just that's his name, and you just think, God, now it was bad enough with nicknames, but now there's evidence.
I've got a mate in a village near me, and I've never asked him why, and I've known him for years now, but he's called Horse. And I still don't know why.
You fuck one horse, and it follows you around forever.
I followed him to the toilet, and it's not because he's got a big cock. So it's either he eats hay or he's fucked a horse at some point. I believe.
Yeah.
But I've never delved into it. I just thought, I'll leave it with you.
He's like, why are you always asking me what my name is, Will?
Fucking mind your own business.
Exactly. There's a reason. There's a reason I'm called Horse, G.
Anyway.
So, a trolley boy.
Uh-huh.
I just remember that fact because you told me about it.
Yeah,
I seem to remember you said you had just the best time. Just
No.
you and your mates just dicking around.
Well, it's sort of that
it
thing
was a
of...
shit job, but you made the best of it.
Well, I was a trolley boy in Tesco in Thornbury, and I'd do that during the day, and then at night I would go and MC Jesters, which used to be a comedy club in Bristol. Mm-hmm. So I had this kind of amazing Saturday where I had the two different worlds, where you'd have like the complete lack of respect you get from pushing trolleys around, and then suddenly being like an 18-year-old kid doing stand-up.
You was 18 doing stand-up?
Yeah. So it was this kind of amazing, but I used to get paid 20 quid to MC. Me and my friend Mark, we would do it alternatively. And this guy was clearly ripping us off, but at the time we're like, 20 quid?
amazing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how much did you get for pushing around trolleys?
20. So I was
40
like...
quid a day?
Well, this is what I mean. So in my head I was going, geez, I'm getting paid 20 quid to have fun. And that 20 quid covers my petrol to get to the place where I have fun, you know. It was kind of a bizarre little time.
How old were you when you did your first gig?
18.
At Jesters?
Yeah, no.
Or did you just do an open mic?
I did. No, it was at a place called Virgin Mirth, and I was following a guy who was eating a banana with a spoon and singing the theme tune to the Sweeney. Those, like, it was sort of the tail end of kind of alternative comedy where there was like, so, you know, like genuine like lunatics and nutters knocking
Jump the
around.
Sharks.
Yeah, it was all that kind of stuff. You know, so yeah, it was 18.
Can you remember what your material was?
It was something about. One of my first jokes was, how did Captain Kirk get through Star Trek without once flicking Spock's ears? That's one of my first jokes. And that was it. Yeah. And then a lot of stuff about Craig David, you know, that song.
What stuff about
I can't remember, but it was that song, and just, you know what I mean? I would sort of muck around with the crowd. I didn't really sort of write stuff as such. And then just, I don't know, it's probably like you lot with acting, where you just kind of, you start doing...
Make up as you go along.
But you kind of...
Hope for the best.
But you know that thing...
see Ralph then.
Where you sort of go, God, I think I can do this. You sort of... I don't know, it's that weird thing you kind of go... When you find something in life and you're like, I think I'm all right at this. Yeah. And then it just becomes this mad hobby and you get obsessed with it.
Were you shitting at that first gig?
No, I was really excited.
Really?
Yeah. Properly excited, because I just sort of knew it was going to be fun somehow.
How long did you do that for then? So you was on stage 18, doing it there, and then...
So the first time I got paid for properly, so I'm thinking about this now, I was 18 when I started, it was 21 when we were doing those Jesters gigs, so that was the first time I got paid, and then like properly doing clubs and that around the country, probably 22, 23, like getting sort of paid, you know, so yeah, it's kind of 5 years of like, you know, ducking and diving and that.
And I think I would have seen you then when you did
the BBC Comedy Awards.
Yeah, 2002.
Yeah.
So you'd have been. We're the same age, aren't we? So you'd be 22. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Me too.
Yeah.
When you? I feel like it's competitive.
23rd of March.
I'm about a month older than you.
Who are you? Okay, who do you share your birthday with? I'm definitely going to win this.
Oh, I can't remember. No one interesting, I don't think.
Marlon Brando, me.
Let's find out.
Will you win instantly? I've got.
So I have it in my back pocket just in
I've
case
got,
that comes up.
Mo Farah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've got the cyclist with the big legs.
Yeah, I think Marlon Brando wins.
Yeah, wins.
The cyclist with the big legs.
What's his name?
I don't even know his name.
Chris Hoy.
Yeah.
Listen, can we name a cyclist that hasn't got big legs? I want to meet that one.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah,
that's all they do.
You're not going to see Peter Crouch on a mountain bike, are you?
Big Show, the wrestler.
Who's Big Show?
I mean, you've had to Google
Hang on a minute, wasn't
I had
that?
to Google it, and I don't recognise any of the people.
Wasn't Big Show what you called yourself in the Arndale?
Yeah, it's true. I only lasted a week. I mean, it wasn't a job. It was a job for a bit.
John Williams.
I did loads of different jobs. Bought DJing equipment and then all that sort of stuff. And just.
Oh, so is that what you? So we go with DJing and stand-up, like sort of mobile DJs. I think are quite similar in that it's sort of you have that sort of weird entrepreneurial spirit and that kind of thing of like, right, fuck it, I'm going to see if I can get through life without having a proper job.
That's exactly what my attitude was. Try and get a car, and then the car can get me to do gigs. So I was acting at 12 years old. So I was on TV in bits and bobs. So I was sort of saving money and scrimping and scraping. And then I thought, if I buy something that makes me money, then I don't have to work. So I bought DJ equipment and went and did weddings at 18th and 21st.
You've always said that you could never have lived, never have survived like an office job. Just doing a normal job.
I told you, I was talking about the other day. I think I've got ADHD, but I've just never been diagnosed. So I think I'm going to go and get tested because it explains a lot.
There's a knowing look on Russell's face.
My dad used to say you're like a fart in a colander, and I don't even know what that means, but I think it means you don't stay in one place long.
You just leak out in all directions.
So that's me.
But it's a lovely phrase, that.
Yeah.
But I just when did he say that to you? Just tucking you into bed one night.
You're like a fart in a colander. Well, I'm stuck to the ceiling like this, like a cat.
I remember my friend Alan had a phrase where I think he went on holiday. He went to New York. That was it. I said, "What was it like?" And he said, It was all fart and no shit. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's one of those phrases. It means something. It doesn't mean nothing. And it's for you to figure out. Like, yeah, okay. Again, you don't see that on like Wish You Were Here.
Talking about fart and no shit, have you ever had a vegan burger?
Wait.
No.
Before you let Russell answer that, and then I'd like to play you something.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, I have, yeah. My problem with the vegan burger is that the names are unnecessarily edgy.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Well, it's always like a dirty burger, filthy, nasty, naughty, and they're not.
Well,
they're full of quinoa and beetroot.
Good burger.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm trying to be vegan. I'm not too strict on it, but since I'm doing Veganuary, right?
Yep.
And
Will is definitely not in that he bowled in here 15 minutes late. 15 minutes late with a bacon sandwich.
Yeah. And
I was early as far as I was concerned. I was on the front foot.
And then proceeded to chat to you, mouthful, crumbs flying everywhere, bits of bacon hitting you on the glasses.
I respected it. It was like I mean, you looked like you were really enjoying that sandwich.
Well, the thing is, I was going to eat it in, but I thought I don't want to be late, so I'll take it with me. And then I got told I was late. I was early as far as I was concerned.
Shocking.
So go on, you're trying to do vegan.
So I'm trying to do Veganuary, right? And the truth is, there's that old joke, how do you know when someone's vegan? Because they'll tell you within the first 2 seconds of meeting you. So I don't want to become that guy, but since we're talking about it, since he brought it up, yes, like the meats, there's some meat substitute stuff out there, because I'm a massive carnivore, I love eating meat, that's really good. So, you know, if I enjoy it and an animal doesn't have to die, I'll just do it, right? So, whatever. Anyway, yesterday, I made Will try this burger, and he's like, to be fair, that is not bad. He said, are there any downsides?
Yeah, a lot of it, yes.
I said, well, you know, my stomach's not quite got used to it yet. So it does, you know.
What are you going to show me
every
here,
every fart is a little bit dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I got home last night having recorded our podcast.
Yeah.
And Will Mellor leaves me this voice note.
Okay.
Hi mate, yeah, good to see you today, great day. I just wanted to keep you updated. My bowels and my arse is in tatters, thank you. It's a fucking vegan burger. I had to fucking run from the knees down. Almost shit myself. And I've just completely destroyed a toilet and nearly ran out of toilet roll wiping me fucking chad. Well, there's the downside to vegan burgers. Fucking hell.
True. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Will Mellor's food reviews.
That has to make its way onto a Netflix documentary about food.
They don't put that in the small print. It was like marbles. You know when you used to flick marbles?
It could be a series.
It was like it knocked out all the meat that had been stuck in my bowels for a while. It had just gone, well, you can fuck off.
Is that not a good thing?
Yeah, I said to Michelle, I had to phone her on the toilet. Like, listen, I've had this vegan burger. She went, maybe it's cleansing, maybe it's clearing out your stuff.
I think it is.
I blocked the toilet. I am battering it. It's terrible.
We're getting like an extra's getting a balloon whisk.
I had to go and get a coat hanger down the toilet.
But a wooden one. Just move it around.
I like this. I think there's a food show with you where you try the new fads, and it's called Mellor's Dilemma, and it's just about how you deal with it. Because that was, let's not muck around, that was the most northern reaction I've ever heard to a fucking bastard, fucking, like, it was just like the spirit
him to play it. He said, how'd you get on with it? Let me know. I was like, oh, but as soon as I was like, there's something going on here. There's a rumble in the jungle.
There really is. There's a great cooking show in there, a food review show.
But it's such a
just
great
based on what happens to Will's bowels.
Totally. But it's
not
like,
the flavour, not the cooking process.
Well, normally it's like, what was a vegan burger? Like, I was quite light, actually. You know, you can't really taste the difference. But the phrase, I was running from my legs down.
From my knees
From the knees down. It's
I was terrified. Sweating, thinking, oh my God, if this runs behind my knee, this next fart, I'm in trouble. I've got to get on a train.
Here's a question. As we're kind of in this area, have you...
We're always in this area.
Have you shat yourself in your adult life?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the regs.
Yeah.
He's a vegan now. He shits himself regularly. He carries down extra pants in his pocket.
The worrying thing is when it's sort of... I reckon I've done it 3 times in my adult life. The worst time was on the phone to my friend Al. And I was like, I've shit myself. Like, and it was just, you know, it's just that horrible...
The resignation.
You just get to that age where you sort of, you're confident in yourself and you just have a little fart and you're like, oh, but it isn't like anger. It's sort of like this resignation that your sloppy shitter is just like, sorry, chief.
It's the moment when you don't know whether you have or you haven't and you have to have the check. You have to sort of go, oh, and you pull out and there's a bit of brown on your finger. You go, oh.
It's that oxtail soup.
Yeah, I was driving. I had to drive whilst trying to levitate off the seat.
Yeah.
So I was pushing my feet down, trying to lift my chad up, so I didn't want to sit. Trying to look for a petrol station. It was so dangerous. I was on the motorway.
Where does the chad come from?
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Where's chad?
My babies like it.
But why is it called Chad? Why have you given you've called your anus like an American jock's name? Like the idea of like, so what? Why's Chad?
I don't know where it comes from. I'm sure there's other people up north call it Chad.
I've never heard of it.
Have you never heard of it?
I've never heard, but instantly it makes sense. But just the idea of like your Chad. It's a bit like in Ireland, they call their cock their Mickey, didn't they?
Yeah.
Get
his Mickey out. Have you ever heard James Joyce's love letters?
I haven't, no.
Oh, goodness me.
Don't get it out again.
Well, what juxtaposition this is. We go from Will's
we do this all the time.
Review of vegan burgers
Welcome to 2 Pints of Will and Ralf.
By the way, I looked up famous birthdays on February the 8th, my birthday, and this is what this website's got. 412, St. Proclus, Patriarch of Constantinople. 1191, Yaroslav II of Russia. Cheers, that's what I was looking for. Thank you, website. That's great.
Ralph, you're
Bollocks.
not even in the game.
No.
He's better than you with the cyclist with big legs.
Chris Hoy and Mo Farah's all right, man.
What I wanted to ask, this is because I'm interested in this. So you go from you're doing your stand-up live on tour, you're learning, you know, you're getting it all down, whatever it is you're doing in like circuits. You start off doing 10-minute sets, is it? And then
5s, 10s, 20s.
How does that then branch into TV for you? Where did that start?
When I was 26 at the Edinburgh Festival, and I got nominated for like the Perrier, which is kind of like, I don't know, it's like the British Oscars of comedy, and then I got asked to do Mock the Week, and
that was brilliant.
Sort of go on from that, and it was sort of that thing really of like you then go, all right, you try and figure out how to do comedy on TV, and then got my own show, and blah, you know what I mean? It's sort of that, but it's fundamentally the same thing.
Did you write all that stuff?
Yeah.
Your own show, the news. It was. Yeah. I just thought that was.
Thanks, man.
Fantastic. I loved it, especially how you finished with a nice warm message at the end.
Yeah, well, that was sort of my idea from basically from Blackadder. You know, when we were kids, and it was that lovely episode of Blackadder where they kind of went over the top.
Oh, and never forget it.
But even as kids, it had a real sort of like emotional significance where you kind of were like, oh, wow, oh. And I kind of liked the idea of taking the piss out of the world, and then at the end of the show every week having a sort of a reminder that ultimately the things that make the news are terrible things because that's what sells. But fundamentally, the world is full of great moments, but they're harder to find. But they're like, you know, for example, you know, Boris Johnson's having a big party this week. He's behaved like an arsehole. Novak Djokovic, Prince Andrew. But also this week, you nearly shat yourself because of a burger. And that...
Is that a warm moment?
It was for you.
It was behind your back.
The point I'm making, there's woe and wonder in the world.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, I don't know, that's always the way I try and approach stuff really, where there's things that piss you off, but there's things that are so brilliant and I always quite like showing those. I know it sounds a bit wanky, but do you know what I mean? Like there's moments where there's a thing on Instagram, it's called like Good News, and it regularly, you'll see something and it just gets rid of any cynicism because you see something so beautiful. You'll just see like a kid celebrating his first goal, or like a grand doing a dance, and all these little human moments. And that was it really, trying to do those.
Didn't you talk about
I was about to say, there was I don't know if you'll remember this, but there was a story you did about an elderly woman getting arrested for selling a goldfish to an under 16-year-old, and she had got put on a tag.
I don't remember that. But
you had all fish behind you, and it was a big story. Anyway, that was my auntie.
Wow.
Yes. And the story was she owns a pet shop called Major's in Sale Village.
Yeah.
And it was a set-up sting they did to see if she would sell a goldfish to an under 16-year-old. So they sent in a 5'11", 15-year-old, right, and said, I want a goldfish that you can win when you're 7 at any fairground.
Yeah.
And no one says anything. And she sold him his goldfish, and when he left the shop, they came in and arrested her.
Wow.
And they said, that's illegal. Not only did they arrest her, they put her on a tag. And it made the news around the world. Australia, it was on the news everywhere. And obviously you picked it up and you did a big thing about it. My mum rang me yesterday and said, oh, you see Russell Howard, make sure you mention Auntie Joan on his show.
Yeah.
And I thought you might remember it, but...
No, but I feel sorry for Auntie Joan. I mean, what's she doing wrong there?
Well, that's the thing, it is a law. You're not supposed to sell any animals, and aquatic animals are not supposed under 16. But to set her up as a sting...
What did she do wrong? She sold it to a kid?
To an under 16-year-old.
16-year-old.
I didn't know that was an illegal trafficking act.
Right.
But the thing was, you asked for ID for cigarettes and alcohol and stuff like that, and you said you're supposed to ask for ID. But to set it up as a sting, it's like, fucking go and arrest somebody who deserves it.
Yeah.
She couldn't even take her bins out. She did a piece of the paper like that with the bins. And it was like...
It's always that photo, isn't it, mate? As well, it's that kind of where some local news guy kind of go, can we just get you looking really... It was just...
The funny thing is she got a message of Ozzy Osbourne saying, tell him to fuck off, Joni, and all this, and people got involved, and a bloke came from London, a big solicitor, and said, I'll take your case, I don't want any money, and he got it sorted like that and got a tag. But he should have a tag on her ankle and a criminal record, and she's like, I've never broke the law in my life. She's like, 70-year-old woman. Oh, God. It just shows you, doesn't it, that they've got nothing better to do.
Down with her
But it's also, you just can't imagine anyone, like, is that genuine a problem that's like cluttering up the legal world of this crime? Like, there's too many 14-year-olds with like stray goldfish that they've left in the road because they bought it in a moment of panic.
All right, guys, we need to sort out the crime on the streets. There's been too many stabbings and too many shootings. Boss, before we do that, have you seen how many goldfish there are kicking about?
It's not just that, it's pufferfish. Do you know what I mean? It's cod. It's ridiculous, man. Yeah. Well, no wonder we covered it, but how's Auntie Joan now? Is she all right?
She's sound, she's
good,
fine. But it's just something that happened. It was, as I say, it was on your show, and obviously now you know the story. You know you would have covered that.
Yeah, it's
your street.
It's right up our alley.
And I remember when I was watching the episode when you broke your wrist. Was it your wrist or your hand?
Yeah, it was my wrist. Yeah, I was trying to do a one-arm press-up on a collapsible stool. Yeah, that's... And I had to do the rest of the show with a broken wrist because we had 10 more minutes to do, and it was like, okay, I'll just do it. So if you just see me at the end, I'm just kind of like flopping this thing around. It was awful, man. But that's a real recurring thing that comes back to me. The amount of times I'll be in like a train or something, and everyone's like, there's your wrist. It's really odd, isn't it, what people remember, you know?
Yeah, because I remember thinking he has hurt himself there. Because you're Canadian, sort of said, well, that didn't go well.
But it's that thing where you go, and it's just the initial, mate, yuck. But it's all right now.
And ironically, I think you got voted as was it in Heat magazine, the weirdest crushes.
I did. Oh yeah, weird crush of the year. Yeah, it's
weird crush of the year.
That's right. Yeah, the nation's pity fuck. It's terrible, isn't it? It's like King of the Mingers essentially. Yeah, it's sort of.
I know you're a good-looking lad. I don't know what's happened there.
But it's sort of that thing as well, where you kind of go, you can't help but think, if there was an award for women called Weird Crush of the Year, fuck me, that would be front page of the papers. Like, how dare they? And yet, as a man, it's like, just take it.
Guilty
do you know what
pleasure.
I mean?
Pity fuck of the year.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's sort of, but my mum was really proud of it. And you're like, it's got the word weird in it. Do you know who was number 2? The Stig. He ain't got a face. He's got a fucking helmet. Yes. And you sort of go, it's just like, what? Like, basically, the entire readership of Heat magazine, which back then was big, got together and voted of all the sort of men that you sort of fancy but feel terrible about it.
Yeah, you don't.
Who
want
is
to
it?
You don't want to tell your mates.
Well, you
Boris
know
Johnson made the list. Did
he?
you know that?
Oh, mate.
How does that make you feel?
Sometimes I get someone on Twitter or whatever. They'll go, "Hey, by the way, you're my guilty pleasure. I've always fancied you. That's my guilty pleasure." I'm like, that's not the compliment you think it is.
No.
You've mugged me right off.
Yeah.
You fancy me, thanks for telling me, but also you can't tell your mates because
Yes.
you're too embarrassed by it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's understandable with you, Ralph.
Listen, do we want to start on? Do we really want to start? You've just been talking about shitting yourself. Michelle's a lucky woman. Anyway. Yeah, it's not a compliment you think it is. People say they said it about 2 pints, and they say it about Death in Paradise now as well. They're like, oh, it's such a guilty pleasure. I'm like, there's nearly 10 million people a week watch it. There's nothing guilty about it. Just enjoy it.
It's funny that, isn't it? It's sort of that weird. It's a sort of a British thing, that you kind of. Happens a lot with music, where you're not allowed to, you know,
just like something.
You talk about music, and you kind of, hey, what do you like? And you always end up staring at your feet and go, oh, eclectic.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like all sorts, and you're trying to think of the coolest band, but you're never going to go, you know, I quite like Take That. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or I like Coldplay or whatever it may be. And it's sort of that thing I think with sort of entertainment. You just kind of, it's this odd thing that people are like, oh, it's guilty. So you don't, because like we don't want to feel like we're not cool, and it goes on forever. It's this weird thing that you
never grow out of it, do you?
Do you have any guilty
strange.
pleasures that you
I
watch?
quite like. Well, yeah, I've got true guilty pleasures that are fucking creepy. So
Oh wait, hold on.
I got
No way.
Let me take a sip of this non-alcoholic
yeah,
beer.
exactly. No,
This
I really.
sounds like it's going to venture into porn territory.
No, it's not porn, but it's very pleasurable to me. And like cards on the table, this is a guilty pleasure.
Good.
I really, really like watching videos on YouTube of people having their earwax removed.
Oh, I can see that though. I can see it. Yeah, no. Just think about the satisfaction of that plug.
Yeah.
And that shit coming out.
They put a little camera in there. You'll be there for 10 minutes. It's like if you're into it.
If you're into earwax, or you're into earwax removal.
If you're into earwax removal, I'm not into earwax per se, but like having it
You
removed.
got a bit of whack on them. Ooh,
I
fancy
was
a bit of whack.
genuinely. I remember I started a gig at Sheffield Arena late because I was watching a Chinese man have a big amount of wax removed because I was just there going, I can't watch to the end of this, and you're like, yep, I'll do. Right, let's go. Like that.
And how long have you been into this earwax porn?
It's not porn. It's not sexual. There's nothing. There's no movement whatsoever.
How long have you been into this earwax stuff? And can you come to anything else now?
yeah. No, I reckon 10 years I've been into it.
Wow.
Like,
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's not a daily thing, but it's.
I've got a handle on it.
Yeah. But every so
Stop any time I
often.
want.
But you must have stuff like that. We've all got things that we kind of
I'm banging to the Dr. Pimple Poppers, but I don't even watch that. Just
My
the
wife
YouTube
loves
stuff.
Dr.
Oh, I love
Pimple
that
Popper.
shit.
But that's what I mean. Similar
Squeezing
thing.
shit out your back and stuff and out your face and
Where does it come
like
from,
cheese.
though? Like, and it just keeps coming.
My wife watched it like we're eating crisp and cheese. I'm like, so what we're doing here? A glass of wine, cheese and crisp. Let's watch some cheese come out of someone's back.
But it's-
where's the? Who wants to see that? I'm like heaving.
But it is weird because like that's a really interesting point because people are either like yes or no. There's no one in the middle. There's no one like I've seen better. Like do you know what I mean? It's like
you have to
I'll
watch it
if it's
between
on.
your fingers.
That one. I'll watch it if it's on in the background.
I don't know what it is though. It's sort of like maybe it's just it's the sense of cleanliness that it's removed.
Purging.
The
Mine
purge.
purging, yeah.
That's what it
Dickinson's
is.
real deal.
Yeah.
What?
Love that. Dickinson's real deal.
What is that's
Or
the
bargain hunt.
I like
Hey,
home.
do you remember him coming on to?
Yeah, he was a bit of a dick, wasn't he?
He was
He
a
wouldn't even
bit.
talk to us. David
to-
Dickinson, he came on the set of
we
Two
did
Pints.
a comic relief sketch for 2 Pints. It was just a one-off sketch.
Yeah.
And David Dickinson comes into the pub.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to have like a bit.
We were all dead excited going,
oh,
is
yeah,
it
David
there?
Dickinson, and he just like wouldn't make
Yes,
eye contact.
yes, all right, yeah, let's get on with it. Let's get on with it.
This bright orange.
Do it now, I've got to go, do it now. We were on our set, we were like...
Yeah, it's like this is our house, motherfucker.
He didn't want to talk to us at all.
It's very weird.
It's sort of that bizarre thing, isn't it, where you kind of like I remember meeting Martin from Hammer. You know Homes Under the Hammer?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
So
He was in
with
the
Barney.
hotel I stayed in the other week. He just did the jungle not long ago.
That's right, yeah. But I'd just done the Albert Hall and I'm in my dressing room and I look around and my brother's there with Martin from Hammer and I'm like, okay, like that.
Can I just stop you there just to point out that I'm loving how much you watch Homes Under the Hammer that it's now just called
No, it's
Hammer.
just, yeah.
Just Hammer.
When you know it as well as you do, Russ, it's just Hammer. You know?
I do like that show as well.
Yeah, huge fan. And it's so it's pretty exciting that Martin from Hammer's there, and bam bam ba da 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 da. So but I've just done a gig and
collars up.
Collars up, hairs up, the lot. And I said to Daniel, I was like, what the fuck's Martin from Hammer doing it? And my brother's like, shut up, like that. And Daniel had seen him at the Tube, and went, Martin from Hammer. My brother's doing a gig. Brother's Russell, do you want to come and watch it? And so Martin's like, yeah, I guess so. He goes, come on then, like that. And my brother's like, I want to get into real estate. So like,
so your brother's dragged Martin from Homes Under the Hammer into your gig to try and get real estate advice
from Hammer,
from Martin from Homes Under the Hammer.
So it's just this weird thing. So and then my brother got weirdly protective of him all night. So like, there's various other people backstage, and like they kind of, no, Martin don't like prawns. Sorry, Mark. Like that. He's just became this like, you see this poor guy who's trying to get away from my brother. So do you reckon Bath or Bristol or small, country or flat? Country or flat? You're right, Martin. Another drink for Martin. Fuck off, Russ. But it was the weirdest things, and he's now. My brother's got him in his phone and kind of will text him every so often of like, kind of go, yeah, Martin, I'm thinking about moving back to Bristol. What? Never replies. Why would he?
Really?
No, because he was taken hostage for an evening. It's like somebody from bloody ISIS trying to get back in touch.
But he still texts him and
occasionally
just gets ghosted.
Just ghosted's a huge word. It might be that Martin just went, no, he might have changed his phone. I don't know. Maybe there's a vendetta.
Does Martin reply to him?
No.
That's ghosted, Russ.
Yeah, but then it seems like...
It seems like your brother stalked him.
Kidnapped
him and then stalked him, and Martin's desperately tried to.
This is it, yeah.
Change
It's sort of that weird thing where you have these sort of moments with kind of sort of celebs and that. It's just, I love it where you kind of. It's heartbreaking to hear that someone like David Dickinson.
Mate, we did a pub ages ago. We spoke about this on one of our first pods we did in the pub. We talked about people who've let you down when you've met them, and you go, do you know when you've really sort of watched a lot of their stuff and you look up to them and they've let you down? It's a horrible feeling.
It's brutal, eh?
Especially if it's at a BBC do or something. Like, it's different if you go up to someone and you interrupt them with their partner or something in a restaurant. You expect a negative response sometimes. But I've met people at like ITV dudes and BBC dudes where everybody's in the same industry, so no one's out to sort of get them in with tits, just to say hello, and they've literally costed me up.
In the same industry, don't you?
Yeah. I wanted to say as well, obviously your partner works for the NHS, right? Yes. Is that one of the reasons why you got involved with the NHS Charities Together Trust when you donated your money from?
Yeah, well, it's sort of that thing of like, if particularly in that first lockdown, it just felt like I was lucky enough to get a TV show, and there's not many people that were working at the time, so it just felt like the idea of profiting from this. That kind of situation just felt a bit shitty. So I was like, let's give it to a food bank and the NHS Trust. So yeah, that was it really. It just felt.
How was she with it with the pandemic? Has it been tough?
Yeah, it was just. It's sort of. I think it's. It's like it's just anyone in the care system. It's a real calling to them. So that's what they do. I don't know anyone that I've met. I've got lots of family members that are nurses and. They just have an innate. They want to look after people. They want to make them better. They just have a compassion. So it was just like she just went for it, and that's what they all did, wasn't it?
My brother is.
I just find that they are the angels of the earth.
But they still are, and they're still kind of cracking on, and it's probably the same with your bro.
My brother's a doctor and my sister's a nurse, right? And I said to them like, God, what's it like? What's it like in COVID? I think this is in first lockdown. Wherever, like, I asked them, I can't remember how the waves went up and down, but I asked them when it was right at the height of, like, it was really dicey, no vaccines. I said, what's it like? And they're like, oh, And what do you mean, oh, It's like, well, we go to work. We go to work and we do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but is it not scary? And they're like, it's what we do.
Yeah.
It's what we, literally, they both said, it's what we do.
Yeah.
And there was no question that they wouldn't do it. And there was no question that, and the whole clapping for the NHS, all that kind of thing, it was a lovely idea. And it started out, the first week was a lovely idea, the second week, thank you NHS, just so you know.
Yeah.
And then by about week 3 or 4, you'd started to notice like the right wings, the government, the creeping in, like grabbing it, making it theirs, and making it all about, yes, let's thank our NHS. It's like, you're the people that aren't going to pay them properly. You're the people that already don't pay them
1% pay rise.
Yeah, and then they gave them a 1% pay rise. Yeah. So I was like, look, I'm done with this clapping shit. I'm not having it. 100%. Also, do you ever see like the whole competitive clapping thing get a bit weird? It's like people just start to
come out with pans on our street.
Pans. And then somebody saw a pans and was like, right, I'm going to bring out a trumpet. There's like, I've arranged for an RAF bomber to come over the top.
Yeah, it was so. But I'm completely with you that initially it was in the middle of this sort of bewilderingly strange time, just to, because you weren't seeing people. Do you remember that? Yeah. We were only leaving the house an hour a day. It was that weird. You didn't see folk, and then suddenly it was like something out of Star Wars where the Ewoks fucking clank, clank, clank. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Where you just go, you could feel humanity sort of go. It wasn't. It's sort of the NHS. It was sort of thanking the people that are running towards the fire. Yeah, exactly. That's what it felt like, wasn't it? It was sort of that thing, and like you say, it's amazingly how, well, you were saying with Wag the Dog, it's incredible how quickly the mechanisms of politics can make something cynical, where once it was pure, and it was ultimately like, oh, I know Jo, she's a nurse, well done Jo, I want a way to convey how much, you know what I mean?
You could literally feel it. That first week it was like, oh yes, and
it was pretty special.
You went back in the house and you were like, oh, well, that was something special.
It was kind of weird,
That was a beautiful, weird, special moment that really mattered.
You wouldn't think...
By week 2, you did it again. By week 3, and then by week 4, you were like...
You wouldn't think they'd have the balls, though, to then just go, by the way, we're giving them a 1% pay rise. After all that. And also all the promises of, we come out of Europe, how much money are we going to have for our NHS? We're going to have all this money we can flood into our NHS because it's on its arse.
Well, that's the
we come out, and then we go, 1% pay rise. They've been on the front line for 2 years. How have they got the balls to do that?
But what's frustrating as well is we spent sort of 2 billion on a test and trace system that didn't work. We spent, I think, 45 million on masks that didn't fit. Yeah. That was just like one thing. And Boris...
Weren't the masks, wasn't the PPE supplier like one of the Tory donors?
One of the Tory donors.
One of their mates.
But also, we spent £1 million of our money. Boris had his private plane redecorated during a pandemic when no one's flying anywhere. Yeah. It's like, and all it is, it's got a Union Jack on it. Yeah. It's like, if you want, just fly BA. Like, fuck me. Yeah.
Law, yeah.
But still got your fucking first name with your first name.
It's all that staggering thing where you kind of, but even like help out to pay out, like you sort of go by any metric, like being overweight is not good at this time. They basically had a fucking happy hour for junk food.
Eat out to help
out. So basically everyone's like, ordering loads of food, and that's not, it should have been, get thin down the gym, lift weights with a mate, something like that. But you kind of go, they were thinking about just desperately trying to keep the hospitality sector alive, which is fine, but you also go, Jesus Christ, man, this is mad. We just make junk food half price.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah. Do you know what I remember, like from the clapping, is that, when you do the minutes applause, it's like 20 seconds in, you realise
how long a minute is.
I've gone too big. Like that, and when you start going, my hands are hurting now. It's that weird thing of going, and then, so you're ending it like that, just... It's so funny, isn't it?
Looking around at everyone else just to see whether they're still... they're looking at me. Yeah, mine's big enough. Okay.
But you just find yourself going, how do tambourine players do it, man? Just like that kind of... It's one of those things, isn't it?
Tambourine players just didn't have a choice. Just didn't turn up for band practice as much as the others. Give him the fucking tambourine. He's only been here once in the last 6 months.
But isn't it weird when we're kids, like the amount of percussion that we'd sort of talk, like that lot of that, the kind of...
Never seen it anywhere.
The fucking triangle. But like... hours of just kind of clang,
I heard a rumour.
Recorder. Mate, do you know what I mean?
I heard a rumour that Simon Cowell, this might be complete bullshit, but it's
he invented the kazoo.
I heard a rumour that when he was was it Westlife, when he was managing Westlife, or when he signed Westlife, or something like that. Yeah. The rumour goes that he, on every track of their album, he played the triangle once, just somewhere in the track, so that he could get part of the royalties as one of the... Now, that sounds like the kind of thing that's almost certainly complete bollocks, but it's great bullshit.
I think he took most of the money anyway.
Yeah, well, exactly.
That's the whole point.
But that's the you know, Jimmy Carr is a backing singer on one of Ed Sheeran's latest singles.
Of course he is.
Is he?
That is the most Jimmy Carr thing
Can he
I've
sing,
ever
Jimmy, or is it just for a joke?
I don't know, but it's just, I remember talking to him about it, and he's so great, Jim, because he was just like, yeah, well, you know, it felt like the right thing to do. Like, and it's just that thing of like, I was like, but how does that happen? He went, oh, you know, sort of got together and it's, but it's just like, he's so great for that, of just like, of course you were there.
Oh, he doesn't care, he just owns it.
Yeah.
That famous story of Jimmy's party, it's legendary in comedy. You were probably there, but Jimmy Carr he's got this beautiful, huge house, and he had this big party, famous party, and he invited everyone, and he was just, the people that he'd invited were the most eclectic mix of people, so they're all comedians and all his friends and everything, but then there were just sort of some people that he obviously just thought were cool, or were like, they'll look good at my party. And Dara told me, it was Dara that said, I was very surprised to turn a corner and just bump into Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, it was Jim.
And it was like,
what? Stephen Hawking?
Yeah, of course I got Stephen Hawking.
They were well, they were really good mates. So it's this thing. That's the fascinating thing about Jimmy, that I know for a fact actually, he doesn't acquire them. He's friends with, honestly, like the people Jim's friends with, so he's mates with Stephen Hawking, he's mates with Jamie Redknapp, he's mates with Jeremy Clarkson, he's friends with Kitson, he's kind of got this, he's just pally with everyone. It's fucking nuts.
Well, it's funny because his persona...
You would think he would only hang out with a certain type of person.
Well, his on-stage persona is sort of quite chippy, isn't it? But
and then you find out
he's such a warm...
Lovely fella, but you know what I mean? It's just that, you know... You just go, hang on, are you going to go hanging out with Little Mix? Like, do you know what I mean? It's sort of this, it's bizarre.
I heard from one of the people that was there, and they were saying that they went to his house and they was absolutely blown away by how humongous.
Yeah, it's fucking lovely.
It was Michael McIntyre said my house would fit in his tennis courts. That's how big his house is.
Really?
His house is just...
Oh, shit, the bed.
And
that's Michael saying that.
Yeah, and he's got some serious tips. No, but they said you go into his bathroom and it's got all like stuff you'd see in the highest end of perfume shops as an array of everything's got. It's got them toilets that you talk to, and it's like stupid.
When I went to
Dubai nonsense.
I went to Jimmy's
in his house,
and he you know, it's in London.
Have you been to his house?
Yeah, I went to his house. He said, "Oh, come round." I was like, "Oh, lovely, come round for a cup of tea." I was like, "Yeah, sound, Jim, I'd love to." And he gave me the address, and I pulled up, and I was like, "Must be in that." I guess it
must be that hotel.
No, it must be in that block of flat. That must be an old hotel converted into flats, right? So I ring the doorbell. I said, "Oh, hey mate, come on in." And I was like, "Oh wait." And I opened the front door, and I walk into what felt like genuinely a hotel foyer. Right, and I walked in this corridor, and it was beautiful.
There's only two of them there.
It was immaculately done, beautiful, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think this is flats or a hotel. I think this is just his hallway." Yeah. And I walked down this long, beautiful hallway.
It's lovely, yeah.
And Jimmy was like,
"Have you been?"
Yeah.
Jimmy was like a dot.
So
in
just
the
me then.
Do you remember the hallway, right? That sort of grey, long. It's just this huge thing. And he's sort of this dot in the distance. Jimmy's like, "Hi, Ralph, I'll be over in a minute." He's just at the other end of his living room, right? And he comes over, and he was great. He was so lovely. He's like, "Hey, great to see you. Do you want to come and play some pool?" And we played some pool and all this kind of thing. And then he said, "Right, do you want a cup of tea?" I was like, "Yeah, brew would be lovely." He goes, "Oh, coffee? Coffee?" I said, "Yeah, I'll have a coffee." He goes, "What type would you like? Latte?" I was like, "I don't know, just latte would be great." He goes, "Okay, Michael." And
the butler.
Out of nowhere, this butler steps out from like a secret passage in the wall. He's like, "Yes, Mr. Carr." And Jimmy's like, "Latte, please, and I'll have a cappuccino." And Michael's like, "Right, you are, Mr. Carr." And so he did that. And then Jimmy goes, "And perhaps some cake, I think. Do you want some cake, Ralph?" I was like, "I love some cake, Jim, thanks." Some cake, please, Michael. And Michael goes, "Right, you are, Mr. Carr." And Michael goes, "Any particular type, red velvet or any particular type?" And Jimmy just went, "Just a selection." And Michael did something I've never seen a human being do before. Michael opened the fridge, and then Michael walked inside the fridge and shut the door behind him.
Like The Shining.
Yeah, but in Jimmy's kitchen. We're not talking about like
he's got a walk-in fridge.
Yeah, we're not talking about the Overlook Hotel, like from The Shining. We're talking about it's just to get some cake. In a fridge where two people live.
How confident would you have to be
to buy a walk-in fridge?
Hang on, how scared would you have to?
The fridge. That's what
house.
Shit, sorry. The fridge works.
Yeah.
Like that, you'd have to be so hungry for something at the back of the fridge to shut the
Shut
fridge
the
door.
door.
Do you know what I mean?
So
You
wrong.
suddenly, otherwise, you just fucking look out the corner of your eye and the Lurpak man's there, like, fucking, like that. And you're like, but that moment where you shut a fridge, fuck, that must be terrifying.
You don't need a house that big. There's only 2 of them in there. Well, him and Michael the butler. He must have a staff.
Well, look, the truth is, it's one of those funny stories. I don't mind telling that story because normally you tell that story and people would be like, an obvious or an easy reaction would be to be like, oh, that's too much. That's a bit crass or whatever. But Jimmy's just owns it, just works really hard, and he's so charming.
He is
with
a
it.
workaholic,
and he
isn't
just goes, yeah, this is lovely.
Yeah.
Jimmy. I can ask you about this as a comedian. Jimmy is a fascinating, and he said this to me himself. I've heard that Jimmy loves touring, loves working, to the point where he tours like twice as much as anyone on any given year, does twice as many dates. And I asked him about this, and he said, oh, that's it. And apparently what he does is towards the end of it, he doesn't even rehearse a new one. This might be wrong, but I'm sure this is what I got told. Towards the end of one of his tours, he'll just take out one joke, and because of a lot of his jokes are sort of quite rhythmic, right? Yeah. He'll take out one joke, replace it with another, and sort of rebuild dismantle the end of one tour as he builds the start of the next one. Yeah. And I asked Jimmy about this, and he said, "Oh, it's not quite like that, but broadly speaking, yes. I've usually road tested all my new jokes towards the end of my tour, which is amazing. Normally, someone like you'd write a show and then you do the tour, right? Yeah, yeah." And Jimmy said this, and he said, you look at someone like Ed Byrne or Russell. He said, when they write a tour, they're trying to sculpt something out of marble. They're trying to make a beautiful sculpture they can then take out and show everyone. He said, I'm just trying to do the same thing, but out of Lego bricks. Yeah. And it's a lovely analogy because that's sort of is Jimmy's jokes. Like, you can just take one off, put it aside, put one off.
Yeah, totally. But it's sort of that thing of like, when you're sort of writing a new show, like, and I'm at the most embryonic stage now. I've literally done 3 gigs since my Netflix special. It's the best bit because you're like, right, I think this is quite funny, I'll try that out. And then you create it with the audience, not for. Yeah. And you have to have that moment where I think this is quite good, but it's so different to, like, I've written one script and I found that just too scary because you present the hour, as it were, of the script in a read through, and it's sort of only in that moment that you get a hint for what's funny or whatever. But whereas with stand-up, it's like if you've got a new hour, you know that you've tested every little kind of tiny bit of it. Yeah. So that's what you have to do. It's not that you have to do it as well. It's just fun to go, okay, that's all right, that works. Yeah, or, like that.
You got a Netflix special out now? I
do, yes. It's called Lubricant. And there's a documentary that is with it called Till the Wheels Come Off as well. So it's, very pleased with it.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know why it's called Lubricant.
It's called Lubricant because...
It's about helping wax out of your ear.
It is.
Yeah, while Robbie Fowler watches you.
It's going to be a lot of really disappointed perverts because it basically comes from a phrase that I thought of, which is laughter is the lubricant that makes life livable. So nice. I thought if I call it Lubricant, it sort of piques your interest.
You'll attract a lot of perverts.
Yeah, exactly. But it's sort of one of those where I didn't want to call it that because that felt too grand. But somehow Lubricant felt like the right title for it, and I'm really pleased with it. It's kind of it's gone down well, and I'm doing I'm off to kind of America and Europe. That's the amazing thing. That you kind of now, because of Netflix or YouTube, you kind of get to do. Yeah. You get to do gigs in Oslo or Chicago or I'm doing some gigs in India next year. Wow. It's mind blowing because and people have an idea of what you're about. It's so cool, man.
And are you really? Do you do all your socials?
Well, I like making stuff and then
give it to someone and say package that.
Yeah, essentially. So it's like we do the TV show and then somebody cuts it up and flings it out, and it's I like the idea of. A place where things can go. I don't really like creating on them spaces. Because I'm really lucky. I have comedy clubs that I can go to that are dark rooms where you can muck around. And social media is the worst comedy club in the world because people aren't there for a laugh. No. A lot of them are there to be fired up and furious.
What about you're obviously like a socio-political thinker and like what about Twitter? Do you just not
never been on it?
Too much hassle? I couldn't agree with you more, and
it just doesn't still on it doesn't help me. I don't need it. Like, it's sort of that thing of I love it as a place where you can fling a thing, but it's not real, man.
No.
It thinks there's Mos Def, who is good friends with Dave Chappelle, coined the phrase, it's a gladiator circus world. That's all it is. Yeah. It's just like, are you not entertained? It's just, it thinks it's so much more important, and it thinks that it's the truth, and it's not, man, because it's just little bubbles of people agreeing or disagreeing. It doesn't help me, but then I know loads of people that get loads out of it. I don't need to be there. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of that weird thing of, but I like making a thing and slinging it in and then backing away. It's just because it's
comedy grenade.
But also, comedy is inevitably going to transgress moral lines from time to time, and like this kind of thing of like, some people don't like jokes. Fine, some people love jokes. That will always be. Do you know what I mean? But we kind of like, well, I didn't like that particular joke. Yeah, that's what happens sometimes. Yeah. It's like everything's funny until it's happened to you.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say, just to wrap this up, thanks for coming in, but the main thing is, I wanted to just ask, 2022, what's that for you?
2022, what's that for you? I like that. Is that your catchphrase? That's fucking
just
sweet.
It is.
All right, man. That's all right.
Oh, listen, he'll be running that one into the ground.
I'm doing some gigs in America from March until April, and then gigs in Europe for sort of May and June. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. So nothing in England really, but just rescheduled tours that I was meant to do in 2020, 2022. But
good, man.
I really enjoyed it all.
Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Pleasure.
Russell Howard, everybody!
Russell Howard!